Hello and welcome to the Neville Richards Premier League wrap for round 3, preview for round 4. It's informal day here. The big fellas come all
in the casual, Hazy.
Casual.
I'm representing Live Golf. Brooks Koepka winning on the PGA Tour today, winning the PGA Championship, and we had some Brooks Koepka-like performances with Premier League this weekend.
Jeez, we had a few stinkers though.
There was a few that stunk it up, and I think maybe the man on my right could have been one of them.
One of the dirtiest days of my golfing career, to be honest.
Well, when you walked into the pro shop at 8 o'clock, 8:15, and it was raining and cold and windy, you didn't really look like you wanted to be out there, and it sort of dictated the first part of your round.
It impacted it, but I have to say that I never shirked the issue, and there's going to be a lot of things spoken about people shirking the issue and then just rediscovering a bit of ticker.
Yes, well, there was, I think I counted maybe 7 or 8 that were down for the morning who then decided to rebook for the afternoon when the sun came out and the weather conditions improved.
That is extraordinarily PP. Credit that they came back out, but wow, is that the spirit of the game?
Yeah, well, you did stick to your guns and get out there, and unfortunately it was to no avail for your Goblins.
Well, we'll talk more about that later because there's a lot of controversy about that, I reckon. There's going to be more to be played out.
Yes, 1 point I think was the margin there, Mark.
Let's come back to that one. All right, let's get to it. Round 3, pardon me. The first game that we're going to discuss, Matty, is the Crusaders against, well, they were once the Glamour team and now the Glamours come right off the Hookers.
It has, yes. The Crusaders absolutely pumped the Hookers, literally on Saturday, winning 215 to 190.
Ooh.
So Crusaders, big score there. We had 10 players for both teams. What can I say? Crusaders, Bobby Gibbs went out in the morning, worst of the conditions, come in with a 40 points. Johnny Rowe 37, Jeanette Johnson 36, Snipper Dodds 35, Snags Finnemore, he had 34, old Snags, and Stan Maskell returned with some form for 32, while the Hookers, the best score they could have was from Soupy Collins on 33, Angela Royal, first time she's greeted the scorers, 32, Helen Power 32, Dan Hopgood 31, Chrissy Dodds 31, and Rob Moorcroft had 31. So very hard to win if your leading scorer is only 33.
Yeah, I saw where Craig Finnemore hit his tee shot on 17, back right flag, and his the blue marker was like, I don't know, 8 or 9 inches only behind the
behind the hole,
there.
right.
Really good shot, not sure how it didn't go in, so that's a great shot. I want to just bring this up, Matty.
Yeah.
You mentioned Bob Gibbs. We've just got a few of these books to give away in the next few weeks. I don't know, I've got a frog in my throat. I'm going to have to...
You have to get that Canadian in there.
You have to talk while...
I'll keep going, Hazy. So the Crusaders with their win moved to second on the ladder while the Hookers have dropped to 7th. As I said, Bobby Gibbs was the star, and then sort of those 3 players there all played to their handicap or better. They have been the highest scoring team so far this season. They didn't win the weekly prize this week. They were surpassed there, but the Hookers missed Stewie Anderson. He's been a very regular. Not sure what happened to Stewie. He plays in all conditions normally. And also the firepower of Paddy Kennedy. They missed him, which is unusual because he was in the PP team last year. But they just couldn't get anyone near the 36 points. Last year's grand finalists, I think, are at the crossroads there with only 1 win and a percentage under 100.
Well, yeah, no, they're in a bit of strife. So I'm going to give this to Bob Gibbs, the first of a few, hopefully, in the next few weeks. Not for Bob, but the golf course guide, a few discounts. You can play around the universe.
Yeah, so it's an Australia-wide guide. So if you do go away and play at other courses, you can use that and get some discounts off your green fees.
One for you, Bob. Well played, 40 points, great effort. The second match for discussion was the Tornadoes up against the Peakers.
Yes, so Tornadoes, what can we say? 219 they scored.
Wow.
And they defeated the Peakers with a very good score of 200.
Yeah, a bit stiff to Peakers.
They were. Tornadoes had 12 players, Peakers had 9. But what do we say? Tornadoes, Bernard Reid, my man Bernie, 43 points.
Wow.
So just for everyone's clarification, we did play par on Saturday, and the scores are actually counted based on whatever par score you had, you add 36 onto it. That's how it goes to Golf Link, so that's how your score is calculated. Bernie having +7, finished with 43, which was fantastic for him. We also had Col Isbell 37, Ando Wooten 36, Doreen Ivers 35, and then the 34s they scored for their team, which was Norma Vogel, then also James Finch, Dale Pollock and Anthony Swain. While the Peakers, Dave Milne, best for the team again.
Wow.
He's taken the criticism to heart, and he's at 35, Lloyd Shepherd 35, Robbie Stiglbauer 34, and then Barry Doyle 33. Marion Keskinen, her first game back, PPP team, she scored on 32.
Well done, Marion.
Kenny Latta and Darren Wilson 31. So, but what do we say about the Tornadoes? Unbelievable. They had...
There's a rumour that they went into the room of mirrors last week. It was at the crossroads for them.
Yeah, well, I think the way their team's set up is they've got a lot of talent there, but they've just got to get on the same page. But this week, 8 of their 12 players had 34 points or better.
Outstanding.
As I said, my man Bernie, 43, highest scoring round, so he wins the tailor-made shirt for this week.
Well done, Bernie.
It's actually the highest recorded Premier League score in history at Portarlington Golf Club. Surpassed Leroy's 42.
Twirl the mo.
Yes, he will be twirling. And I think I did say on draft night that he was the dark horse for the league. It's going to be like a new recruit, because last year he only played 3 games of the 14, and he averaged 28. This year he's played all 3 and he's averaging 33 with all his scores counting.
33 with a 43.
Yeah.
So he's up and down like the Assyrian Empire.
Correct.
Wow,
That's just like his golf. But the Peakers, they were valiant. They would have beaten the Warriors, Goblins and the Hookers.
Were they really valiant?
They were valiant.
Okay.
They tried their best. 200 points. I put it on some players last week that needed to lift: Yanni, Leroy and David Milne. David was a top scorer, he listened, but where were the other 2? No shows.
Yeah, they've really tailed off, haven't they, after 22?
The pressure may be building with Dudar Wilson actually quoting Saturday morning, "I can't be expected to do it every week." Well, Darren, you're the one who wants all the accolades and the glory. You need to step up if you want to be that player.
Yeah, it's very true. I'm going to give a book here. The Mustache Twirler's already got a good prize. I'm going to give that to Marion Keskinen.
Marion Keskinen, yeah.
Just a really bold showing, because she didn't play that well in this last year. So I'm giving it. It's a well done, Marion. Have a golf course guide.
Well done, Marion. Good job.
The third match for discussion is the Bullies versus the Warriors. Matty, was I don't know. Did this go the way you saw it?
Well, the Bullies have been, how do we say, they've been the giant killers. Previous week they beat the Crusaders, who were on top of the ladder. This week they played the Warriors, were on top of the ladder, and they knocked them off. So 10 versus 10 for the Bullies. Phil Stevens out early, 36. Jackie Rowe, 34. Pete Vogel, 34. Ross Gibb, 33. Sean Rodwell, 32. And Alan Sweeney, many golfers, were on 31. While for the Warriors, the ever-consistent Gary Haywood, 33. Johnny Leading, 32. Skeeter Howard, 32. And then we had on 31s Jill Barker, Paul Kirby, Matt Miles. But same thing with the Warriors there. If you don't have anyone up around for 36 points, it makes it very hard to win. But as I said, the Bullies knocked off the top of the team both times. I mentioned Gibb, Rodwell, Sweeney last week about their poor performance. They actually you would say maybe a pass mark. Didn't quite get to the 36, but their scores counted this week. They were able to win without their 2 female guns, Ange Foote, who was last seen on the practice green still, but not sure where she was Saturday, and Jen Edmondson. Jen went away on a little dirty weekend with Rico to Adelaide, seen at the footy there and at the races, but yeah, they did a great job to win, the Bullies. What we can say, the Warriors probably let this one slip. Like even with the Hookers, no one scoring above to 36 just makes it hard, and I've dropped down to 3rd.
I'm going to, just a forewarning of a question. When do the Bullies become the hunted and not the hunter? Because we might come back to that in the previews.
Yeah, I think they've got to get to the top echelon. Like they're sitting 4th at the moment, so they sort of need to be up in that 1 or 2.
It's interesting. Ladder's always interesting in Premier League. And the 4th match was, well, extremely controversial match between the Pirates and the Goblins.
It was very close, Mark.
It was controversial.
It was as bees knackers in the difference here, with the Pirates getting over the line 200 to 199.
Devastating.
Couldn't get any closer. 9 players versus 9. Amazingly tight contest, 2 evenly sides. The Pirates were led by the very beautiful man, Justin McGrath, 36. Darren Heaton, 36. Yvette Pollock, 34. Joy Francis, 33. Toby Primetime, 31. Peter Solahub and Mickey McNeil, 30. While for the Goblins, Pat Peacock. She is the surprise performer.
Very impressive, Pat.
She's actually the second highest scorer in Premier League so far through the first 3 rounds of total scores. Yeah, so she's going great. She had 36, Richie House 35, Judy Said 33, Trev Thompson 33, and then Barry Benson and Steve Evans 31.
Well, first things first, I'm going to congratulate Pat Peacock and give her another golf course guide. Congratulations, Pat. Really well played. Now, look, let's not beat around the bush here. I mean, I had a stinker for the Goblins, and I apologise to all my... What colour were we? I forgot the green. light green of the Goblins.
Well, so, Mark, I have got it here that this match was all about you.
About me?
About you.
That's... Wow.
You were given 27 points in a must-win match for the Goblins. Ian Burrell has showed extreme disappointment with your performance.
That's it.
Yes. Your score doesn't count, so the Feed Me Ballerina off you.
Yep.
So you've cost them some cash as well.
I did.
And I was actually watching the live scoring through the morning there, Mark, and I did notice that you were 6 down after 7 holes. A man of your talent dishing up that rubbish.
Well, I'm just thankful that it was scored on a slightly dubious system that only took -1 from a stables perspective, because otherwise -20.
Well, I did hear your 27 may have in real life been about 16. Would that be right?
Oh, maybe not quite that bad, but it was getting pretty close. It was pretty ugly out there.
Well, maybe those comments from that certain golfer last week about you representing a team and not dishing up rubbish may be incorrect.
Maybe. But don't bury the lead here. The lead here is that at least 2 of these dirty pirates have looked out the window when they got up, abandoned their tee time, walked away from the competition altogether. One in particular has had a very impactful score. Only initials.
Darren Heaton.
No.
Yeah, Darren Heaton, we can mention it.
Mickey McNeil did the same.
Yeah, Mickey rang up, cancelled, said his wife was sick.
Wife? What?
His wife was sick and he had to look after her and the baby.
So when the temperature got up 2 or 3 degrees and the sun popped out, his wife just, what?
She miraculously came good.
And what about Heaton?
Oh, Heaton's just Heaton. He just looks for a spot to play and... Yeah, you can't say anything. He's just passionate about the Pirates. He's got to give his team the best chance.
He can't be too passionate if he bailed at 8:30.
Well, you had the opportunity, but you didn't have the mindset to actually reschedule.
I didn't have the skills. Look, I just don't want to say too much, but there just might be a bit further action against that. With only 1 point
between them
and just rescheduling. I don't know. That's.
Yeah, it's tough, but Ian Burrell, make sure you get your cash to Hazy for playing for you. I don't think the $100 was worth it, but anyway, it's all going to a good cause to Feed Me Ballerina.
Oh, sorry, Buzz. I apologise. Geez, there were some people who could have done better there for us.
Yes, it was a very ordinary effort by some of the Goblins.
All right, well, let's have a quick peek at the ladder.
So, yep, so as we can see there, the Pirates have jumped to the top with actually very low percentage, but they're sort of sitting there on top of the ladder from the Crusaders, and it's going to be an interesting round 4 with a lot of matches that will impact the ladder.
I get the feeling, Matty, that people do live to play the Pirates.
I reckon they do, because they're so... Like last year it was the Peakers with Collingwood, and I reckon the Pirates are there now. They're very cocky, the Pirates.
Cocky.
Yeah, they rate themselves very highly, but this week will be very interesting. We'll have to wait till the preview.
Did I hear a rumour that Scuba Hub might have tried to scam an extra point?
He did. Yes, he didn't like the way that the Stableford score was calculated by just adding 36, and he liked to proceed to tell me that he had a birdie for 4 points, but but anyway, it's stiff shit, Pete. You just have to get what you get. Just as old Scuba Hub's up at the front door there watching us.
He's just come in. Wowee. All right, well, let's move on to the preview of round 4. There's some really interesting matches set for determination here, Matty, in terms of the ladder. Let's have a look at one it's not a crunch game yet. It's too early to have crunch games, but 7v6. It's about time that the Goblins and Hookers sorted themselves out.
It is. Both teams coming off losses, especially that one for the heartbreaking for the Goblins, 1 point to the Pirates. This match is so even. There's actually only 0.21 of a shot difference in the scoring average between these two teams through the first 3 rounds favouring the Goblins. But through the first 3 rounds, the Goblins have only had 2 players scoring 90 or above. And that's Pat Peacock, she's had the 102, as I said, second highest for the thing. While the Hookers have got 6 players above 90. with Chris Dodds on 98. So for either team, they're going to need some improvement from some of their players. Percentage of scores under 50% for the hookers. We have Angela Royal. So this is when their scores have been used. Angela Royal, Chris James, Bill Adams, and Neil Keskinen have got a 50% scoring use. Now Neil can be maybe given a pass as he's only played the one game.
Yep.
While the Goblins have had the dog breeder Ian Woodhouse and the sheik Ryan Reynolds. So they haven't gone above 50% for their scores being used. Now, the Goblins seem to have a bit more high scorers than the hookers, but they just seem to be a bit inconsistent.
I think the sheik. I don't want to say he put the cue in the rack on Saturday, but he just played to. It wasn't a very team-oriented performance, I wouldn't have thought, from the Goblins.
It was all about him, was it?
Well, he had to avoid, for personal punting reasons, going under 30 points.
Right, yeah.
So he needed to finish bogey, double, and proceeded to finish bogey, double.
Just to have 30.
But had he just showed a bit of fortitude?
Well, it probably seems to have gone through his game, because he played his men's match play knockout yesterday against Matt Salter and got absolutely pumped as well.
Did he really?
So it looks like his Premier League form's continued into his match play in normal form.
Wow. All right, so the next match for decision has very direct ramifications on the top 8. It is the Buck Paddock Bullies and the suddenly resurgent Tower Road Tornadoes.
Yes, the Bullies, giant killers, and they're going to be going up against the rampaging white hot Tornadoes. Did the Bullies take their foot off the pedal? See, they're not playing the top side this week. It'll be interesting. Seem to be finding their groove though, with some early form from Wadwell, Gibb, Sweeney and Stevens, while the Tornadoes arguably have one of the best lists out there, and they are finding their mojo. Tornadoes, if they play like they did last week, they'll beat anyone with that score that they had. I do want to highlight a player from each team though, that is imperative for each team's success. Now, and they're related. Andrew and John Wooten. So Saturday afternoon, I venture to get the nearest to pins, as my pro shop duties require me to. And I come back into the pro shop and there's a note on the bench for me saying, in the video, get stuck into John Wooten. He played shit today, and he also only had 16 points when he played at Kingston Heath Friday week ago. And he's rubbish. Well, I think we can just guess who left the note, and that was his son, Andrew. Now, Andrew, just because you're the club champion and you had 36 points on Saturday, you can't throw stones at your old man, because you've still got to remember that you were the captain of the piss poor team last year. You were the worst performed A grader last year. So if you're going to throw stones at Johnny Boy, I think you need to make sure that A, you play this week, and B, you have better than 36.
Did you announce him onto the tee as Fig Jam on Saturday?
I did, yes.
I thought I heard that ringing out around the course.
I think it's quite appropriate though. So we'll see. We'll see what happens this week. I'm sure Andrew and John might have a little side wager on this game for Saturday.
We could put another wager in there for them, like we did last year. I think we should reinstigate that.
Yeah, I reckon they should have something like maybe a meal, like I think it's with Nobu last year, maybe flower drum or something like that.
I like it. Straight to the flower drum.
Yeah, so it's a big game though, 4th versus 5th. Whoever wins this is going to sort of cement themselves in the top 4 there.
I might have skipped over one on our rundown.
That's okay, Hazy. I'm always ready to just go with the flow.
You were very malleable. That was pretty impressive. Let's go for the next game, which is the top 4 shootout between the Crusaders and the 20 Acre Warriors.
Yes, Crusaders 2nd, Warriors 3rd. Crusaders coming off another big win, while the Warriors had that disappointing loss. Been a bit hit and miss, the Crusaders through the first 3 games. Their good is very good though. They will see Cooper McMurrich return and Robert Thompson, while the Warriors will welcome back Buffett Allen. Also, for his first game, we'll have the diminutive leprechaun Ian Lachlan. He'll be returning as well. So Craig Snags Finnemore has been the find for Premier League. He's a high scoring player so far with 105 points through the first 3. Crusaders have had 3 players score over 100. Warriors have got none. Crusaders have 7 players score over 90, while the Warriors have had 5. So yeah, Crusaders are obviously very high scoring. It'd be interesting to see if they can recapture that form and continue with it.
I like it. Very in-depth from you.
Yeah, thought I'd just do a bit of research over the weekend.
Which leads us to a match that has, well, potentially very little bearing on the ladder if things go according to Hoyle, but this is a must turn things around time for the Peakers against the top of the ladder Pirates.
Yes, well, will history repeat? The last 2 weeks, the top of the ladder team's been beaten. Can the Peakers be strong enough? Last week, the Peakers weren't bad, scored 200. But Saturday just gone, both of them scored 200, so it would have been a tie. So very evenly placed, even though the ladder positions are very different. This will really show the depth of some Tides, because there's going to be some players returning, but a few key players missing.
Right.
That I've already been informed of. So the Pirates will welcome back some players. So Brian King will be playing his first game. I'm not sure if it's a major inclusion because he doesn't contribute much to the team anyway when he plays. So he'll be in.
He contributes a lot to these videos.
He does, yeah. You can always hang a bit on Brian, but yeah, he's returning, first game back. Jerry Raviani's returning, and also Johnny Crossett. While the Peakers will welcome back their spiritual leader, Leroy. He was down at Hall's Gap on the weekend, not sure what was happening, whether it was a bit of rock climbing or what he was up to, but yeah, he'll be back. But the story could be the missing players this week. The Pirates will be without the beautiful man, Justin McGrath. He's away on the Sunshine Coast, and guess who he's away with, Mark?
Not tickle me.
He's away with the Madonna's Peakers, Tickle My Doodah Wilson. Apparently rubbing massage oil into each other on the beach on the Sunshine Coast. I have been able to secure some images of that occurring, but the big one who's missing from the Peakers will be Yanni Luthouris.
What is happening to the Drayton medalist?
So the Drayton medalist is in Japan, and Yanni, I have a message from your teammates. Konnichiwa, yoi, semedu.
Can you translate that for those of us who aren't quite as fluent in Japanese?
It means, hello Yanni, get stuffed. So Yanni's not here this week. The biggest game they've got, and he's decided to go to Japan for a couple of weeks. So,
wow.
So Leroy's back in, but Yanni's out. The Peakers will be looking for their first win. They've found some form. Pirates are just travelling. Flanders has been privately berating his teammates about their efforts.
Does he do anything
But
privately?
he's done jack shit himself, so I'm not sure where he's going with that. He's been getting into everyone.
Does he do anything privately?
No. Tells everyone about it. So, yeah. So I don't think his score counted again this past Saturday. So he's the one who probably needs to fill Yanni's shoes.
Ian Flanders fill Yanni Luthouris' shoes.
Yep. I don't even think he's good enough to tie his laces, but maybe he tries to get in his shoes.
Well, this is extraordinary from Yanni.
Yeah.
He's jeopardising his Drayton medal.
He did mention that before he went away, that he goes, I think my Drayton medal chances are going to be gone.
Oh, wow.
So, yeah, so 2 weeks. But, yeah, biggest game, and then he's over there. And, yeah, as the Pirates had the message, sorry, the Peakers had the message for him.
Is he big in Japan?
Well, could be. He did say he's going to bring me a gift home from Japan.
Really?
Yeah. So, we'll see what comes back with him. But yeah, so I think, yeah, so hopefully he's watching this video while he's in Japan. So yeah, yoi, semedu.
Wow, that's extraordinary. I'm blown away. Now let's just a quick recap here, Matty, because there was just the prizes. The top team for the week.
Yeah, high scoring team with the Tornadoes. They win the Callaway golf balls this week.
So come down to the pro shop. Tick your name off Matty's list with the boys and Jill down there. Pick up your Callaway products. Huge thanks to Callaway for showing the support. I've given 3 books here to Bob Gibbs, Pat Peacock and Marion Keskinen. Are you going to give yours away, or are you going to keep them?
I think we might keep them for next week.
Righto.
I reckon we're going to have some big, massive games next week, and I reckon there's going to be some standout performances.
All right.
And then they actually might go to someone who's played really poorly too.
Shout to Bernie Reid for his career best Premier League score. Well played. You get the shirt.
Travis Matthews shirt.
So thanks
So
for
come
that.
down and see us, Bern. Hopefully we've got one that'll fit you.
Unit size.
Yeah, big strong man, Bernie.
Thanks to Neville Richards, extraordinary support from Luke and the team down at on Newcomb Street there. Go and see Neville Richards for all your real estate needs. Matty, thank you very much. I think you've done well in the casual, especially that Japanese.
Thank you, Hazy. It took me a while to get the translation right. I probably wasn't quite on sync with it, but it was the best I could do for an Aussie.
For an Aussie.
Thank you, Hazy. Thank you for filling in for those couple of players. You can have a nice, well-earned Saturday off. The Hawks play this week after their resounding win on Sunday.
We've coughed up the... I've forgotten his name.
The Harley Reid.
The Harley Reid Cup. We've coughed up the Harley Reid Cup, but I think we're back.
I'm not sure who we got this week, but yeah, it'll be interesting. Hopefully the Hawks will get over the line and pussies are just stuttering.
That's it for us. We'll catch you again next week.
Thanks, guys.